in global terms. So, Ilka, please, floor is yours, as it is yours today. Thank you.
Yeah, dear friends and colleagues, it's a really very great pleasure to be in this conference and try to get physical activity promoted also in this way. And hearing that Tafisa has made attempts to change the physical activity for all instead of sports for all, I think it's very welcome, because in Finland we don't have any difficulties with that, but in many countries that we know there are easily misunderstandings, and if we speak about physical activity, it's much more clear, and it's wider as a wider concept, as Wolfgang said. It's a very challenging task to develop a concept for global use, and with purpose we have now chosen to make the preliminary or basic work mainly on European context. But this does not mean that what we say here and what we think is really applicable in all parts of the world. And in my presentation, I naturally have quite a lot of viewpoints from the Finnish system, and that causes some bias, and that bias must be corrected then in the working groups and so on. But I think that we had to iterate the concepts in this way and to give different views. So this presentation is actually not so much for you, or for those of you who are very knowledgeable and experienced on this field, but this is more a marketing talk, so to say, for those you have to influence, to convince, or the validity or the concept of active cities, active citizens. And therefore this is in a way quite simplistic, because for politicians, excuse me, you have to speak in simple terms if you speak on your own topic. And so I ask or try to answer, what is the justification for the wording or slogan nearly, active city, active citizens? Because the connotation here, as I understand it, is that if a city, a community, is active in increasing and improving preconditions for physical activity, the citizens will become, or the likelihood is great that they will become physically more active. And so the question is if this is a valid basis for a concept and then framework for promotional work to be done, for instance, by Tafisa, and Tafisa is really a good organization for that, and why city has been is seen as the key actor. I must say that I use the city instead of community, or community instead of city, or municipality, because Wolfgang stressed the importance of urbanization, but what I speak more is about the concept of municipality or community. And cities naturally are bigger and more powerful in developing and implementing this concept, and therefore the wording active city is really fine, because we have to have catching expressions naturally. So then the implementation of the concept is I don't speak about that at all. what should be done, how and by whom to activate or stimulate, facilitate or agitate, as they do in Latin America, the communities to become active. That's more Jorma's task here and in the working groups and so on. And then what should be done, how, by whom, to activate the citizens to use the increased and improved opportunities for physical activity. It's the third phase, so to say, and I don't speak about those, but they are naturally important, which they now in the first part. And so to say, mission statement is the really simple logic. You can amplify this as much as you want, but just shortly, physical activity, it has numerous benefits. You can make lists, you can emphasize, advocate, and so on. But the important thing is that there are some benefits for everyone, actually in various stages of life and in every stage of life. And part of these benefits are unattainable by other means. And when you talk to the politicians, you need skills and reliability to convince them on this. So the final result is anyway that physical activity is good for all, and so we can say in political terms, in a way, that physical activity has to be a right for all. And for instance, in Finnish legislation, this is true. The Finnish legislation, not in very direct ways, words, but it says that the physical activity belongs to the right of every Finnish or every citizen in Finland. And if you get that kind of legislation made in your country or in countries, that's tremendously helpful. Because like now when we have the economic crisis, if you have this kind of legislative basis, the services for physical activity must be maintained. If you don't have the legal basis, it's different. So, what is needed for participation in physical activity? You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the green model because we have been very keen on that, and for instance the Turku program has adopted it quite completely. And I begin with the opportunities, for instance sites and services. So people need opportunities for physical activity, and I have taken it first before the willingness or motivation. Motivation is a little bad word here. I speak willingness more. Because if people don't have decent opportunities for physical activity, they can just say that I can't, I don't have the opportunities, and so on and so on. So when we speak about community responsibilities, then the opportunities are the key factor. They may, actually, for instance, in Finland, in every community, there are lots of opportunities for those who want to use them. But we are speaking for and all those who are not active yet, but whom we would like to get active. And so, the second thing is the willingness to use the opportunities. And the insufficient active have often insufficient willingness or motivation to use the available opportunities, as I said. And willingness is determined by, for instance, information, knowledge, awareness, experiences, and so on. I don't go in details at all in these because I think many of you know these, and you can have some continuing education when you prepare your talks on if you follow this logic. But this is mainly the logic what I present. And then is the support, emotional, social, professional, for instance, to increase willingness and abilities to use the opportunities. So these are the three key groups or determinants of physical activity behavior. This is not at all a new concept, but I think it's very, very valid continuously. And here are some of the opportunities listed. You have these lists in your working papers. Willingness, information, attitudes, values, norms, awareness, expectations, which is one of the key factors, based much on experiences, observations, and so on. And support in terms of attitudes. If your workmates have positive attitudes towards physical activity, it influences you, gives you support. Examples can give support, as we know, model behavior, information, company, and so on. So there are different kinds of